Hello, my name is Tim Ryan. Welcome to another edition of the Tim and Jenn Show as I sit here with my amazing wife, co-host, best friend, business partner, badass wife. What else?
A warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jennifer Menace Ryan, and thank you everyone for tuning in today. Thank you for listening. How's everyone doing? I feel like
I don't
got
know.
a little check-in. Like, I'm really doing good right now. And I guess like right now it's moment by moment in life. And right now I'm doing good and I'm happy about that and grateful. And I have to tell you that I am so excited about our guest tonight. And I was saying it earlier when we were getting ready. I said, babe, she is everything. She's exactly what this podcast is all about. You represent so much to me, wonderfulness. So I'm gonna let Tim do the intro.
Yeah, we have
I'm a little geeked out right now. I'm not gonna like totally girl crash.
we have a true badass, our dear friend Raina Carrillo. Carrillo. I'm the worst at this, Raina, who was raised in Inglewood in the hood in not easy environments, and
she's a Latin
Creole badass. I mean, mother,
wife,
leader, volunteer, educated,
soon to be mayor.
Yeah, is running for mayor. So we have someone that was raised in the barrio that is now, in our predictions, going to win election for the next mayor of Inglewood.
Yes.
Welcome
Linwood.
to the show.
Thank
Linwood
you
or
so
Inglewood?
much. Inglewood.
Inglewood.
Sorry,
Inglewood.
Wow.
It's okay.
Inglewood.
Hi, Raina.
Hello, beautiful.
How are
Thank
you?
you so much, Tim. Thank you. It's an honor just to be here.
No, it's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much for coming here on a busy day. Like I feel,
Yes.
I asked you right before we started the show. I'm like, have you slept? And you're like, November 4th of next year, I will.
Yes.
I mean, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But people have no idea what it's running for office or
Yes.
politics or even a local seat in a recovery, be a volunteer in a recovery community
It's a
or
lot of
something.
work.
Yes.
But to dedicate yourself to being a mayor or a political office, I mean,
And all the years that you've been already dedicated to
yeah,
yourself.
I mean,
to.
you've really walked this path. But let's go back to what was home life for you growing up?
Oh wow. Well, home life for me was as a child. It was good. I was too young to know. How my parents were. But the upbringing in the household was okay. It was a lot of love. Grew up in a dysfunctional family, but I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Hold on, time out. I don't think people have this, it's a white picket fence and this. Every family's dysfunctional.
Yes.
Every family in the
Yes.
world is dysfunctional.
Yes.
So welcome to the tribe.
Right? I am. I'm welcomed.
But people don't understand when I was selling cable television in 1991, and when were the riots?
1992.
92. A day before our
Yes.
contract ended, and we were in Watts, right where the Rodney King riots were. We were we were selling cable television. Our contract ended, and we left. But I've spent a lot of times all over the country. Chicago's in the hoods and stuff. And what I do know is some of the people there are the most sincere, caring, loving people I've ever met.
Yes.
I mean, the home life, the bond, you have that aspect, but then you have what was the community like? What was siblings? Did you have a lot of siblings?
Yeah. So for me, growing up, I was the only child until I turned 15. So growing up, I would say childhood was fine. Then my daddy got in trouble with the law and we fled to Louisiana for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then we came back to Inglewood, California, and he got caught and he had to go to Wayside. So as a child, I would say a toddler, I remember putting my hands on the glass of my father while he was on the other side and riding in a yellow bus where they had to take you from the parking lot to the jail, right? So I remember these things, but I didn't comprehend what was going on because I was too young. And then my father, he's an amazing father. And one thing about him, he, to me, was kind of like a kick-ass Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Because my dad didn't take no crap from nobody. And I have a story behind that. I was, believe, maybe 7 or 8 years old. I'm not sure. And we were at the Imperial Beach. I call it Imperial Beach. They call it Dock Waller or something like that.
Do you know Imperial Beach?
You just take Imperial all the way down, and there goes the beach.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Now people take the 105 to Imperial to the beach. And so I remember we were somewhere around that area, and my parents could tell it better. And I just remember, my dad, he was different. Like, he had tattoos, and, he had Linux on his back, and, and then my mom, she has the 3 dots and kind of things like that. And so I remember both of them. Back in the days, you didn't have to worry about kids getting kidnapped. You can, go in the water, and your kid can be right there, and they'll be safe. Yeah. Fine. And I was safe. They went to the water, and then before they came back, it was my dad's rival gang, compadres. And I didn't know these things until now, right? And so I just remember a guy kind of looked like my dad a little bit, looked at me, and he picked up the hat and put it on his head. And I was looking at this man like, oh my God, he just took my dad's hat. Ooh. Oh. Yeah. And I just kept looking at him. And when my dad, my mom and my dad came back, my father asked me, where's my hat? And I pointed at the guy and I was like, he has it. So my dad walked over there, did his thing, and he came back with his hat, unscratched. Sometimes people's words are very powerful that you don't have to put hands on people. You know what I mean? Yep. So my dad was no joke, and he's still no joke, but he's just different now because he's like in his 60s and he's more mellowed out. He's a grandfather now. I blessed him with 5 grandkids. Wow. That's what I said. Yeah. 2 sets of twins. That's just and a daughter. And a middle child, which is my daughter.
2 sets of twins.
Yeah. Wow. In a single birth. Yep. So that's 5 total.
Wow.
And so with that to say, it's like my father is considered my superhero. You know what I mean? And he's always been there for me, as well as his brother, which was like a second father to me. Right. Rest in peace, my Uncle Jesse. And so that's the family father figures I remember. You know what I mean? The hardcore ones that just was so fly, because in the 90s, they dressed different. In the 80s, they dressed super different. Yeah, so it was a different vibe.
It was a different vibe. It was a different time. It was a different, oh gosh,
just different.
Well, there was a thing back then too, respect.
Yes.
And, this generation today, and not all of them, but man, it just the
Z and G and
it's
Y.
Not the same.
Just seeing we travel a lot, and just seeing somebody not get up to let an elderly person sit down or open a door. Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am.
I agree.
Go to college in Louisiana, you'll learn manners.
Oh, yeah, that's why I have manners.
Be raised in Argentina.
I was raised by my great-grandparents from Louisiana. They were from New Iberia.
Sure.
Literally next to Avery Island.
Yep.
And they're very southern.
They're down there.
So no matter how hardcore I looked with my size 40 Ben Davis and my Nike Cortez and them ugly gangster eyebrows and Sharpies, I still would open the door and respect my elders. You know what I mean?
So what was it like for you as you're getting into high school and stuff, and seeing the lifestyle and ultimately choosing to walk away from that? What was there a factor? Was there a catalyst? Did you start losing friends, seeing them getting incarcerated? Kind of what was your...
So the journey started like this. At Worthington Elementary, I believe we were in the 6th grade or 5th grade, where we started to realize that as kids, we had family that were from 18th Street. And so we created a little clique called Little Crazy Devils in the 6th grade. So LCD was the crew, So back in those days, it was like party crews, cliques, for the ones that weren't ready to become gang members.
Yeah. Right.
But you're trying to like get there. Cool, yeah. And so we had a connection, my homeboy Shorty had brothers from 18. My mom, was from that neighborhood. And we had other like guy friends that their brothers were from there too. So we had that connection. And so when we got to junior high, that's when stuff got real.
Yeah.
It got real. And then from junior high, everybody was testing us, you know, like, okay, like you got to do this, you got to do that. And I remember when I got to the 9th grade at Morningside, I went to Monroe. That's when stuff got real. And it was a place called Project Hope. So when you got caught in trouble, they would ship you to a program called Project Hope. Mm-hmm. But Project Hope wasn't by Inglewood High, which was considered a rival neighborhood. And they were called Inglewood 13. So we were not supposed to be in that area, period. But we got shipped to that area. Jeez. So once we got in, it's like word of mouth. People knew we were there. Like, oh, the dudes from females from 18th Street, this and that. And it was a crazy environment because I remember back in the days that the person that was running it was, I believe, a probation officer. And they would let people like get down. Like let them fight in the room.
So people don't understand. They don't understand this, but here you're in high school, you know, 14, 15, 16 years old. Are you fearful to go to school knowing you're going to have to get in fights or someone's going to wanna, or did you not worry about it?
No, I was fearless back then because I already accepted, especially in junior high. My mom saw I had a box and I had my obituaries already in my box underneath my bed.
At junior high.
In junior high. Wow. So I already was accepting that I wasn't going to make it past high school.
Yeah, so I look at both of you. The trajectories at 13, 14 years old, you're taking this route in life. You are mysteriously and magically dropped into this supermodel world overnight.
Yes.
And you're both Latin women at the same age. And it's just circumstance because you could have lived 20 miles this direction or even where you grew up. You could have got involved.
I grew up in West Covina, so.
You know,
of course.
Okay, so then, you know, what was the shift then?
We want to talk to you about Clean Cause, better caffeine. What's in the can? Our organic, sparkling Herba Mate is a premium pick-me-up that won't let you down. Every can of Clean Cause contains 160 milligrams of better caffeine, and each sip supports recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. 50% of the profits go to assist people into sober living. Check out cleancause.com.
Seaside Palm Beach is an executive luxury addiction treatment center located in Palm Beach, Florida. Our private clients come from all over the world, including business executives, professional athletes, celebrities, and more. Seaside Palm Beach offers first-class amenities and high-end accommodations, including a gourmet culinary experience, ocean views, pet-friendly facilities, and access to cell phones and laptops during your stay. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, please call us at 877-959-5053. Again, that number is 877-959-5053.
Damn.
So I was dating a guy from Inglewood. Oh my Lord. And I met him at a house party because I got invited to a house party because at that time in high school, it was like I was banging at school, but I started a party crew called Firme Jainas, you know, which is like fine girls. And so I ended up going to a house party, even though I knew it wasn't my territory, but people, the Firme Jaina Raina, the party crew chick, didn't put in the gang stuff or whatever because it was like, I love to dance. You know what I mean? I love to dance. I love to party. And I felt free. So I didn't feel like I had to go. I'm not wearing Ben Davis and Nike Cortez to go bang on people. You know, I'm at a party crew, you know? Right. And I met this guy named Pelon. At a house party, Pelon, and like bald head in Spanish. That was his nickname. And so anyways, fast forward, I told him to pick me up on 104 and Yukon, which is kind of like a little bit of a neutral area to pick me up. Because at the time when I went out with him on a date, he had a Regal, a lowrider Regal.
How old are you at this time?
I believe I was already a senior.
So I want people to understand that the life skills that you have at this point, very little people in the world will probably ever have. I mean, at
yes, I hear you.
17 years old. I mean, I always say I have a life skill that he won't have because I was traveling doing my thing or whatever it was.
Yes.
But to have street life and to know
the street smarts, yes.
Amen.
You can't and to know where to pick you up and this and that, where it's neutral. I mean, I knew at La Puente, like my family,
Yes,
like, and all this stuff. Like I knew where not to cry because it's what I saw with my uncles.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
of
Like,
course.
and so only few can understand what you're saying, like the depth of that. Like
yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So I told him to pick me up in that neutral spot because I knew if he picked me up in front of the schools, my homeboys would see him.
Sure.
But he had an ego, and the ego almost cost me my life. And so he showed up in front of my school bumping Mac 10.
No.
And Mac 10 represented Inglewood. I mean, to the fullest. And even though you're born and raised in Inglewood, you love Mac 10. But at that time in the 90s, most gangs didn't bump it because it said Inglewood too much. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And so he rolled up with a second car he had, and it was a 64 Impala, burgundy. And he rolled up in there, and he hit that left in front of Morningside where you had to buy the field. So as I'm trying to rush to come to him through the front, my homeboys are on the other side already scoping.
Oh, okay.
Like, who's this fool?
Right.
And so instead of him going to the right when he picked me up to go towards the Hollywood Casino, he went straight through them, which was a total disrespect. And he hit the switches. And back then when you hit switches, it means F you.
Yeah.
And so he hit the switches. He went through them when he could have went the other way, and that put my life in jeopardy.
Sure.
So fast forward, because of that situation, my people gave me a chance, a second chance, right? I didn't get beat up. I didn't get killed or beat up in the hospital for it.
Right.
But one of my homeboys did not feel that way. So he was on Sherm. And he waited for the Scroc bus to come around 6 p.m. around this time to kill me.
Wow.
So when you say Sherm, PCP.
Yeah,
was on.
PCP.
Yep.
We just call it Sherm in the hood, like,
For
But
the
if you
average
Google
listener
it, I
out
think
there
it's
who
PCP.
doesn't know what Sherm is, it is PCP.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've done it. Not recommended ever
Me
to
too.
experiment with.
Yes.
Never, ever, ever.
It's a hell of a drug.
Man.
It has people doing some crazy stuff, man. Like stories as, somebody think they're on 108th and Crenshaw thinking they're Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
No,
And
it's...
they're seeing these lights, but it's car lights.
Yeah.
And they think they have a sword because
Yeah.
they're like, toom, toom.
And they
you
forgot
know?
that they don't have any clothes on.
Yeah, that too. They
Yeah.
get really hot.
So what happened with this situation?
And so with that situation, the gun got stuck.
So he's trying to
So
shoot
he
you.
was coming to shoot you, to kill you,
Yes.
knowing who your family and everything where you.
He didn't care.
Doesn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, he was very upset.
And the gun
like-
jammed.
Yes. I would say it's a spiritual awakening for me because my truth of what I experienced, it wasn't jammed because the barrel moved when
Right.
he clicked and the barrel moved again. And when the barrel moved one more time, I was like, ooh, 3 strikes you out. This is the bullet's really going to come out this time. And I closed my eyes and I was in a black tunnel. Like I'm looking up there because it looked like that. It was a black tunnel, a hole. And I was falling down. So in my head, I thought I was shot.
Right.
But I believe that was a spiritual awakening that God was showing me. And I was falling down the tunnel and I was like, oh my God. And at the time I was Catholic. So I was like, this is probably me going to hell or purgatory. I don't know what it was, but
Yep.
it wasn't heaven.
Right.
And I was asking God, like to spare me. I was like, man, like you didn't give me the perfect life,
Right.
and I was thinking about the situation of being molested at 5 or 6. And that's what, even though I got over it a little bit, but deep back in the head, I wasn't over it, So when I was falling down that tunnel, I was falling fast and I just kept looking both ways like, oh my God, I don't see no hell, no nothing. It's just pitch black. So I started saying my All Father, my Hail Mary. And I was asking God like to forgive me. Like I don't even deserve to go to hell. Like I need an opportunity to go to heaven.
Yeah.
And as I'm talking to him, nothing is being said. I'm still falling down a black tunnel. And then I'm just like, okay, like I'm just gonna let myself go. Maybe this is my purgatory. I'm gonna experience this fall for eternity.
Oh,
So
man.
might as well
Wow.
just accept it. And I let go, literally like hands back and just let go. And as I let go, I look one more time and I seen beautiful female hands, turquoise cloth. And for me, that was the Virgin Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And I let go. And I was so happy to cross over. I was
Wow.
happy to cross over. Like, finally, I'm going home.
Right.
And when I accepted death fully, because I was so excited, I was about to just go with the Virgin Mary to heaven.
Yeah.
Then I opened my eyes and I'm still standing up and my homeboy's still pulling the trigger. And I
Wow.
was telling him, I know I'm not supposed to curse, but I'm going to do it because this is what I experienced. And he was pulling the trigger and I was like, fucking shoot me already.
Right.
Like, kill me,
Yeah.
smoke me. Back in the days, that's what we say, smoke, it means kill. I was like, smoke me already. He was like, I'm trying to pull it and it's not working. And I can laugh at it now because I'm alive
Sure.
to tell this story. And things happen after that. But I know that when I went home to repent and talk to God and remember telling him, if you don't show yourself, you're going to lose me, whether I get killed for retaliation or murder for retaliation and go to prison for a very long time. And I remember telling God, like, you're going to lose me. I was molested. You allowed that to happen. And he knew I was angry. He knew I was angry. And I said, so this is your time that you got to show yourself physically or spiritually, or you're going to lose me. Like, you're going to lose me today. And God showed himself spiritually. I did not see my homeboy come to school for a few weeks.
Right.
And my homeboys told me that he was, I guess, shermed out or drugged up. And, that's why he's been away or whatever. And so I just, every day I would talk to him before I would go to bed. I would listen to Josefa Salinas on Power 106 and she would bump oldies.
Me too. That's what I listen to all the time.
Power 106?
No.
Josefa Salinas? Yes,
I
now
know
she's with
what
104.7
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah, huh? And so I would listen to her voice and the oldies and then talk to God and then go to bed and just ask him, like, every day, thank you for sparing me. Thank you for sparing me. And so finally, when he did come to school, I didn't know what to expect, but all I knew during that time is he never tried to hurt me after. Physically, you know what I
Wow.
mean?
Yeah.
And so at the time I held a grudge. I didn't forgive him. I was angry, but I just separated myself. So when I graduated, that's when I remember going back to the part of talking to God, I told him, I said, if you spare my life, I promise to you, I will help my community. I will give back to my community if you spare my life. And he spared it. And that's why I've been doing the work, gang intervention, since 1999.
Wow.
Saving lives. Because I felt at the time spiritually, 'cause I'm a very spiritual person, and I remember saying, like, I have these naked wings because I was a sinner, right? I had these naked wings and I had to help people. And each person was a feather, and I would put the feather on to
That's
fully,
a great analogy.
yeah, to fully get my full feathers, which is they're not full yet, but when they become full, then I feel that when I cross over, don't cry for me, celebrate me like a Mardi Gras. You know what I mean?
Hell
Celebrate
yeah.
that I live my life on this earth, and I help so many people that added those feathers to my naked wings. So when I cross over, I've earned my wings.
So you know what I think's
I'm gonna
really
cry.
Yeah, that
I
was
know.
fucking
I want to
powerful.
cry too because it's
That's
so
mic drop.
symbolic.
Beautiful. I can
It's
feel
so
the spirit.
symbolic. Yes.
But
I gotta say, like, saying you have to be, you can't speak the language you speak
yes.
and feel the things you feel if you're not spiritual the way you are.
Yes.
That's something that's, you can't make up,
yes. I agree.
It's such a beautiful gift that women, human beings, spirits like you exist, because
Yes.
we need more naked wings out there.
Yes.
well, and here's the badassery of this, and I said,
I
yeah,
love that.
badassery
Badass.
is My wife and I here, I joke around. I hold a PhD in cardiology and pain. I have no education. I mean, I dropped out of college, but we're all subject matter experts in our specific areas because of what we were raised in and what we experienced through life.
I agree.
And all your pain and trials and tribulations now, you're turning into triumphs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you've been triumphing as you've done and I've done and everything else. But there's marrying into a Latin family. It's let me explain something. I'm a white boy from the Midwest. I'm from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Jen's like, you from Wisconsin? And what kind of cheese you fucking eat?
I thought he was from Wisconsin.
Jesus.
And I asked about
Christ.
cheese. Yeah.
But coming into a Latin family, God, I love my mother-in-law more than anything in the world.
I believe you.
She is just she is
amazing.
a walking saint, and I'm not just saying that. Her novenas, her prayers, her this, her fucking food, her
delicious,
unconditional
I can imagine.
love. But it's different than the home life I grew up in or whatever. But what's really empowering
There's
is
a lot of flavor.
but the
Latin family.
they're in the way they treat. Like I live here, and I guarantee you and my wife are two peas in a pod. Type A's, don't put up with shit from no one, and it's been a learning experience because I'm type A and I'm the man and I'm right. No, I'm not. No. Mama Shark runs everything. But it's seeing the love and the balance. But the point I'm trying to get to is seeing what both of you and specifically what you're doing here in Inglewood and in our backyard here in Los Angeles County and giving back and empowering and helping. But you've taken all your knowledge and wisdom and you're helping this younger generation not have to lose their wings to gain them back again.
Yes.
I'm still stuck on the fact that the gun got stuck, and you were like, "Just shoot me already!"
Yeah, because I just wanted to cross over. Like, let me be
at
at peace, because the world at the time is like I didn't want to live. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I didn't.
but there's something really, for me, is I think maybe it resonated so much with me is that when I finally accepted that it's okay to die. When I finally, because I grew up with watching chaos and seeing people want to commit suicide. So it wasn't, my whole thing was I wasn't going to live long regardless of where I went in the world.
Yes.
I was, my family, my whole family, like my brother felt the same way, like he was like, I'm not living past 18. Like we were lucky we lived past 18, but my life went a total different direction. But I remember a man putting a gun. It was back here. Remember I told the story. And I turn around. I just went, go ahead. Finally, I mean, obviously it's a whole thing, but and I was like, if you're going to do it. Like, because when it was here, I went.
Like, I want to see you do it. Don't
come
from behind like a scary
really
cat.
Or not. And then you're like, and within the milliseconds, right? You're like, this guy's in shot. He's not going to shoot, but if he's going to shoot, okay, but just relief, please. Come on. Like, it's been rough being me, like.
Yes.
And I know that sounds really, if people look on paper, what life looks like on paper, it was so different than what I or anyone else in particular right now is going through. Like our lives, I call them smoke and mirrors.
No,
can
I
look
hear you.
really great or really bad, and yet you can be a tough girl and be very scared, or be scared to be a tough. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, you knew your purpose.
Yes, my purpose was to help people, because that's what I told him.
And
God.
And you went through it in order to understand it. And that is something that sometimes people go, why did you have to go so far down the scale? Like when I tell people I couldn't talk, I couldn't form sentences, I was in a wheelchair. Like when I tell people where I was and where I am now, they don't comprehend.
Yeah.
But it's like, I understand that God, I went through that so I can understand and empathize with other people. Regardless of where my life goes and what I do for it just allows me to have more empathy.
Yeah, I have a passion. I wish when I was younger, even though I do give a huge thanks to Peace Colors, because it was a program that they saw something in me that I didn't see. And because of Peace Colors and the mentors in that program and Stop the Violence, they were teaching me things that I really understand.
Sure.
You know, like I went there because they had Taco Bell and food during lunch program.
Sure.
And they captured me with I like art and graffiti, you know, like if I don't have to tag on a wall, I can tag on this paper for the piece color stuff. And they would feed us. And that's what brought me there. I love food. So,
Me too.
so they taught me so many life skills, from like anger management to mediation, to
communication,
life skills and stuff like that,
skills.
character education. And they taught me that the leadership I had in this gang stuff, I can utilize that leadership doing positive things. And people did look up to me. I was cool people. You know, I didn't really like to fight because I didn't want to fight. You know what I mean? It takes so much energy, man.
So
I would do it anyway.
But let me
I had to prove a point.
So now, but you walked away from that fight, and now you're in a whole different fight.
Yes.
What is this battle of? How did you just say, "Yeah, I'm going to run for mayor"?
So at the age of 15, I told the mayor at the time, Dorn, and the chief of police at the time, Ronald Banks, that I was going to become mayor.
So I'm going to stop you there. Jen is with her dad, nicknamed Coco. She's about 6, 7 years old, right, at the grocery store?
I'm like 5, yeah.
5, but she points at the magazine and says, "Daddy, I'm going to be on that one day."
Wow.
It was the cover of Elle.
And she says, and
Yes.
she, you know, is the youngest girl
It's the
on the
first
cover of
cover I
Elle
got,
magazine.
yeah.
But you also
Wow.
take me back to
Manifesting.
Yeah.
when I was
so are
coming out
you.
of prison. 4 months before I got out, you're doing your 180 and they're talking and where you going when you get out. And I went up to the head guy, John Zidek. I said, "Can I have your business card?" He said, "Why?" I said, "I'm going to be your star pupil that walks out of this prison." He hands it to me. He says, "Yeah, you and every other motherfucker. Wish you the best of luck." And no offense, I was a star pupil. And West Care and that structured program, all that stuff saved my
Yes.
life, as your program
Yes.
did. But now you're taking that and giving it back to the community and
So
going to
you
run
tell
for
these
mayor.
people at
here.
15 years old that you're going to be the mayor.
Run for mayor.
And they looked at me like, okay. And it's crazy because the mayor at the time, Dorn, is endorsing me to run for mayor now for next year. And the chief of police.
That's a big deal.
Yes. And the chief of police at that time, Ronald Banks, is my compa. He baptized my daughter, and
No
he's
way.
endorsing me to run for mayor.
That is
So
amazing.
that's why I tell people, no matter who I'm supposedly going against, it's not about me going against them. It's my dream. And look, it's so symbolic to me because it's like the people that I said at 15, I'm going to become mayor, are endorsing me to run for mayor of Inglewood of 2022.
Not even knowing
So I already know that everything is coming together. Yeah, I even told God, like, you need to document this because I'm going to be the first woman mayor of Inglewood.
How are you? How are
this.
you? And badassery again, but how are you balancing it with work, with kids, with family, with
alone time?
having to go do podcasts, having to go do this
Self-care
interview,
time,
having to go hand out
Oh yeah, and he
vote
started
for
a
me.
podcast.
And
Yes.
how do you?
Time management, and my husband understands. As long as I tell him in advance, he doesn't have a problem. And plus, I have certain people that I trust to watch my kids, you know, so that my husband is able to do errands or things that he needs to do after work or even on the weekends, you know. And so I think that's the communication, telling him in advance, this is what I'm doing. So right now he's watching the kids today, you know, so it's a blessing. And then things of that nature.
So you win mayor, you get elected mayor. What are the first couple things you think really need to be addressed in Inglewood that are near and dear to your heart?
We would on social media.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
On social media, you know, the current mayor tries to talk to us residents like we don't have a gang issue. Of course, the gang violence is not like the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Sure.
But we still have gangs in Inglewood.
Absolutely.
And there's no resources for them. And that's why for me, because I was an at-risk youth, lived that life in Inglewood, experienced how the school district failed us in the education department.
Yep.
even though they had SCROG. Thank you, Jesus, they had SCROG. That's how I was able to graduate.
Yeah.
You know, to make up credits and things of that nature. But there's limited resources now till this day. And so I just feel like prevention, intervention, and reentry is important. And the current mayor is an ex-law enforcement, you know, ex-chief of police of Santa Monica, Inglewood, and now he's mayor. And I read one of the propositions for a measure, and it said anti-gang. So that didn't fit well with me, because you can say prevention, intervention, and reentry. You don't have to be anti-gang, but he's a law enforcement. So it's a difference from a law enforcement and a community-based leader.
Totally different sides and
of views.
It's when I hear law enforcement, I hear we're going to arrest our way out of this problem.
Yes.
No, you're not. Because you look at, it doesn't matter if it's Chicago, it's St. Louis, it's Inglewood, it's Compton, wherever. The facts are 50% of these families are single homes.
Yes.
They're low income. And Big Perk, my former cellmate in prison in Chicago, one of the things we talked about when we were incarcerated together was there's nowhere for these kids to go. He said, Tim, 30 years ago, I had community centers, you know, you knew everyone. Jen would say you go to the friend's house, you know, you're in trouble, the dad whips your ass or mom does. There's nowhere for these kids to go. Of course they're going to join a gang. They just want to feel connected.
Yes, and everybody wants to belong to somebody or something. Yeah.
And to show that there's other things than, you know, where we're at right now in today's day and age. You know, I mean, and it's unfortunate because only through trial and tribulation do we get to sit here. And thank God that we have these voices and these experiences to say that, you know, it starts from the home. You know, we go all across the country. I can tell you all my problems from childhood.
Yes.
I thought I was the only person in the world going through it. But my emotions are the same emotions you go through, you've had. But my experiences are different. But we go back and we go to schools and we'll talk to thousands of kids. And I'll start hitting things about my childhood. And it's all over. There's cycles
trauma
being
at home,
repeated constantly.
Yes.
And like, how do we prevent this? How do we make a little bit of a difference? You know, and all is said and done, you know, my day is up. God's calling me in for you know, to go retire. Like, did I make that much of a difference? Did what more can we do?
I would say once we, you know, as a community person, case manager, gang interventionist, when you go into the family's home, that's when you use your spirituality without talking about God or talking about anything. You know what I mean?
100%.
And for some odd reason, God gave me the gift of gab in a positive manner like that, to spiritually be connected to people where the parents feel so comfortable. You know what I mean? Like where they can't wait for the family meeting for Raina to come, you know, for family meetings. And I it's a blessed opportunity because I do the case management and develop, the nonprofit is called Developing Options. That's, you know, my job that I have. And I work with at-risk youth. So we have to have one family meeting, 2 individual meetings, and 1 team meeting. And that's monthly. And so I get to see the kid, you know, right now we're doing over the phone because of COVID, you know, video and talking over the phone. But it's important to meet the family because one kid gave me an example. It was 2. The first one was the boy. The boy said to me, Raina, when I'm here at school with you, I feel normal. I feel like I can take those F's to D's and those D's to C's. And just to know that you're just a door away, because it was called Solidarity Enrichment Action. It was a probation school, a continuation school, something like that. And my office would be there and the kids would be in school. And some of the kids wouldn't act up when I was there. They'll wait for me to leave because I'll be all up in the business. I'll be all up in the, put people on headlocks and give them little nuggies.
Get my strap out. You're good to go.
And so he told me that. And then he's all like, but when I get home, it's the same shit. The same shit. Like I have to come home to my drunk father beating up on my mom. And my mom, you know, going to the bar to to work. And so in my back of my mind, I'm like, okay, is she a bar whore? Is that the reason why the husband is beating up on her? Because she's working at a bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She didn't have papers, but that was how she got her money to provide.
Sure.
And he worked and did his thing, you know? But when he said that, when I come home, it's the same shit. So then I said to myself, I'm going to have to meet the mother and father on separate times and then together. And so I did. And it was a language barrier because I don't speak Spanish. Like I had one grandma, my dad's mom spoke pure Spanish. And then my great grandmother, she raised me and she was Creole and she spoke English and broken French. So it was like, whoa, like, you know, I was confused. So I just stuck with English.
Well, you know, I was going to bring that point up too, because in a lot of these communities, take Inglewood, the parents might have never spoke English. They might only speak Spanish. The kids are like you can speak multiple languages. But then as the kids are growing up and the parents don't get the communication from the schools or whatever, there's such a disconnect. And all these people get lost in our damn system.
Yes, no, it's true. So my kids would translate, and I would sit with the parent, they would translate, and it was so funny because in a Latin culture, like when somebody offers you food, you can't say no.
No. Welcome to my mother-in-law.
So I would literally get fed during my sessions while I'm at work, and they would tell you, don't take food from the family, and I'm all like, well, I did it the first time, and
pretty
they looked
good.
at me rude.
I know.
Yeah, they looked at me like, what, you don't like my food? It's not good enough? You know, I'm like, oh, no, promiso, like, you know, excuse me, like, no. And then the second time, like, okay, you know, tengo hambre? Sí. Yeah, okay, yes, I'm hungry. Go ahead, yes. Just feed me and whatever, you know.
You talk about food. I go to my mother-in-law's. She can't just cook. She just can't cook chicken. She's got to make chicken. She's got to make friggin' meatballs.
Oh, I know.
Now I've got pasta.
And then she'll get. She wants us all taking all these.
Well, she gets mad at me though because I'm not. I'll sit down and.
It's like eating Thanksgiving.
I'll eat
but like with all these different meals.
all the portions.
Empanadas.
My Timmy, you're not eating them.
The
She wants
empanadas.
hamburger,
Oh my
she'll
God,
give
I
us
love
like,
them.
and then we have to eat a
it's
pizza on
amazing.
top. We're like,
I love it.
Mom.
And then she sends. Boy, 2 weeks ago we went there and we get home and I'm like, God, I can't wait to eat some of the chicken stuff. I said, where is it? And Jen goes, I left it at my mom's house.
Yeah.
Like,
He
you
was
left
like,
it at
darn it.
mom's house. Oh, boy, mom was mad.
Yeah.
She made all that for 3 days
I swear to
for
God,
me.
he loves my mom so
I do.
No, you can tell. No, when he told his story, you can
He
tell.
calls her mommy, and then he'll be like,
no, she is.
like, it's so cute.
It's just, I've been married twice before, and I've never had a relationship with a mother-in-law and the love that I have with Nellie.
So your two wives, what ethnicity were them?
What?
What race were they? Your other two wives, ex-wives.
Not Latin.
Okay.
No, not Latin. No, God.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
it's a different, you know, different.
I've never felt so connected in a
Yeah.
family with my wife, with my mother-in-law, my
Yeah.
brother. It's just, and it's something about this Latin culture. It really is.
Yes.
It's just, it's different. It's exciting.
But our
and
friends
I love,
are like that. That's how we like attracts like, you know, and I think
Yes.
that's the vibe.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we lay it all on the table, we call all out, say how we are, laugh about it, and then we all like, oh my God, me too. Yeah,
Yes,
da-da-da.
it's the
We
truth.
move on, right?
And very loving family. Crazy too, though.
Yeah.
But
You-
loving.
You know what I,
Crazy.
Well-
I thought I was the only one with a crazy family.
No. Oh
well,
my
one
gosh.
thing,
I'm not. They're sane compared to a lot of the families.
You know, it's like listening to you earlier talking, you know, I was a little badass and I didn't take shit from no one. And then we have that change. And from
And you're so cute and sexy.
I know,
and
I'm
sweet.
like-
Like,
Jen, there's a point I'm going here, honey. But then you see all these people go to prison, myself included, and all the people, you've been into jails or county jails and prisons, and you see them and they're all Bible thumpers, and they all turn their lives around. If we had the resources to truly help these people, I really think 75 to 80% would have the opportunity and want to. But when you walk out and you're stuck here and you can't get a ride here and you can't get a job because you're a felon and you got to go to probation and do this.
That's why I believe in reentry.
Absolutely.
Because I believe the prisons don't
Rehabilitate.
rehabilitate.
Yeah, no.
our people, period. You know what I mean?
At
It
all.
doesn't matter
Minimum.
what race you are. I'm saying people as human race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does have nothing to do with color. It's about human beings. To me, it's like the new slavery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just how I
Well-
feel.
well-
Like you have to, man, it's a hard life.
Well, I'm going to go back to the prison because the prison I was in Illinois had heating and air conditioning programs and all these welding things people could learn, but they still set the inmates up to fail because they could get them all these things, but they never told them what it's like to really how to interview, how to get a job. And
I dated a guy, that came fresh out of prison, and
you married one.
I was trying to. I know I ended up marrying a regular guy because everybody always had an issue. Like, where's he from? Where's he from? I'm like, dang, gosh.
Malibu.
I'm like, he's a Marine. He was a sniper. That's why I like him. But yeah, I dated a guy. He did. He was in Ironwood. I think it was Folsom. He went to all kinds of them. But when he came out, I was trying to help him enroll into college, right? To get a trade or whatever, help him get a job. He got the job. But when he did get drunk, when it came to cocaine and drinking beer and listening to Mexican music, man, it was like he would really tell me, I'm not going to be here very long. I'm going to go back to prison because it feels weird here. That mentality, like you just wanting to go back to prison because he feels more
they're safe,
comfortable there than trying to live a normal life. And that hurt my heart.
It's heart-wrenching. And there's people that Chicago intentionally get arrested for 6 months because it's winter. They'd rather be in county jail. They get 3 hots and a cot.
Yes.
They can play cards and dominoes with their friends and whatever. But, I think it's just so damn powerful. We need more. And I'm married to Jennifer, so I hear it. But we need, and you're a leader at this. We need more women out there being true voices.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest. I'll tell it the way we need more ethnic women out there standing up, doing these things.
We just need more women in general.
More women.
I think we're starting to rise. Thankfully we're starting to rise. The thing about women is we should never underestimate
their badasseries.
Yeah. Because a lot of people tell me like, oh my God, what about if you don't win? Because the mayor, he has all the businesses tied to him. Like they're going to sponsor him for his campaign. And I just tell them like, I'm not worried about him.
To people, man.
I'm worried about me and my journey that God has me on.
Yep.
That's exactly, and I love that you're talking about this because that's exactly what this is all about. This has nothing to do with who's more powerful or not. Because
it's not.
If it's set in stone and God already wrote it down and it is law, it is already done. It is done.
I tell people all the time, I'm going to win regardless.
Yeah,
how many people have a dream and they never accomplish that dream? They die with the dream and they're in the cemetery. Right?
Do you know how many people don't even try to move on a dream?
Yeah, but and then another thing though is about competition, and everyone's always like, I see these women out there, or I don't know about men, but I see women, right? And they start getting all competitive, or exes get crazy, right? And they're like, I'm gonna stab you. And you're like, yo, man, I'm in my own lane, doing my own thing.
Move on with your life.
Move on with your life. Even people, my whole thing was, I was never trying to compete against anyone else. The race was against me, but I just didn't know who me was.
Okay.
But I knew it was against me. I knew it wasn't against a blonde girl with blue eyes, because it would never be a race. You know what I mean? Or whatever it was that I was doing in life.
How about a blonde guy with blue eyes? With a half an ear.
The gift here is you already know. It is set. It is law. It is done. The competition, if we only knew the gift, I'm going to tell you guys, if you can only start competing against yourself within yourself, if you even want to compete. I agree. But otherwise, just go live your life. Yeah. We all wish you well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
If you're gonna win, it's because it's said and done to win. And it's your time to make changes. And we need women like you.
Touche.
How can people, if they want to,
I love that.
Support
if
you,
they want to support or donate to your election, where can they go?
Well, right now my website is being built, but on Instagram they can find me at Raina for Inglewood.
Raina
you
for
can find me on
Inglewood.
Instagram, Raina for Inglewood, and where the bio is, you can press the link that I have there, so then you can donate to my campaign. because I have to raise money to go against a Goliath. You know, it's the truth. You know, he has the Rams and the Clippers supporting him. You know, these are billionaires, you know, or multi-millionaires. So for me, I'm just trusting in God that he gives the right people the opportunity to give back to me as much as I've given back to my community. You know what I mean?
Amen.
So that's how you can find me on Instagram, Raina, Raina, for Inglewood.
And we definitely want you back, and would
as
you please come
things
back?
are
Yeah,
coming
as
up,
things
and
are
we
moving
can-
up and rubbing up, and time is getting closer.
And let us know if there's things that, you know, we can volunteer
How can
at.
we
Or
support
Oh yes,
you
no, I'm
and-
telling people right now, like my campaign manager says, you know, send these texts, call your friends and family
Sure.
on your cell phone, and reach out to them and let them know, you know, they can either, you know, help you by contributing to your campaign, which is financially, right?
Sure.
Number 2 is canvassing with me, passing out flyers and stuff like that. Phone banking, you know, they can do it from home. And last but not least, if they're Inglewood residents, they can vote for me.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
right.
Inglewood
So,
residents, vote.
Yes.
When? So when are
November 4th,
elections?
2020.
it would be November 4th, 2022.
So we're a year away.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
waiting for
That's not a long time.
No, it's not. I'm waiting for the website to be official.
Great.
And then once it's official, I'll be sharing it all through my social media. And on top of that, I will be announcing my mayoral run to the public on Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Telemundo, Channel 11, Channel 13,
Awesome.
Spectrum 1. Whoever wants to be a part of this, you know, this day that is so important to me, because it's a dream of mine. I was 15.
That's
That's
amazing.
amazing.
You
That
know what I
is-
mean? And now I'm 42, going to take action on my dream.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Congratulations.
about. I love it. I love it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
No, thank
much.
you for
Te
having
amo
me here.
mucho. Gracias.
Yes.
gracias.
Thank you for coming on the Tim and Jenn show.
Yes.
Again, another episode, unfortunately, is coming to an end.
Yes.
We would like to thank you for
Thank you,
coming
thank
on
you.
the show. Check us out. Thank you, our sponsors, Luxe Media,
Yes.
Luxe
Yes,
Studios,
yes.
Candace, the team, everyone else for the Tim and Jenn show. My name is Tim Ryan. It's my amazing wife, Jim Fermenez, my amazing wife. Until next week, later, skaters. We're out.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient Nasset. Nasset increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.